Well, you know what, guys? I never thought this would happen to me, but it did. I'm talking about flatworms. A special type of flatworm in particular, Euphyllia eating ones. Look at this, right here. Look right there, right underneath that head right there on the right side of the screen, you see what looks like Caroline algae. And that, my friend, I believe is the Euphyllia Eating Flatworms, or PolyClad. And the reason I noticed this is because the colony was looking a little unhappy. Like, I look at the tank every single day, and I spend some time sometimes to just kind of look at corals. And sometimes it just, some coral just looks a little off. And I noticed that this colony of Indo gold torch has been looking a little bit off recently. And I see that this head is really unhappy. I mean, I do see some Asterina starfish on the right by the head. So I was like, okay, maybe that's it, but let's just be safe and take a closer look. And sure enough, at one of the other heads, I saw what looks like flatworms. And the reason I pay special attention to my Euphyllias recently is because I did discover a flatworm on this wild frag of Holy Grail torch coral maybe like 2 months ago. It was right after I came back from Japan. Head was looking a little bit off, and Lynn immediately said, check for flatworm, because that's kind of like one of the telltale sign for pest. So surely I dipped it, and one big one came out. All right, if they need a textbook video to show these flatworms, I think this may be it. Look at the size of these. Are these eggs? I don't know what I'm looking at, but I know what this is. So I'm using the PolypLab Reef Primer shots, and that guy does not like it. I suspect all those little ones at the bottom probably flatworms as well. I think the direction calls for 5 minutes of the dip. Let's see how much we can get rid of, and I'm going to use a soft brush to kind of brush these off. So ever since then, I've been just keeping an eye out, make sure all the other torches look okay. In terms of, well, these are not Euphyllias anymore, but in terms of outer LPS, they all seems really happy. And it's today that I noticed that, okay, this one is not opening as large as it used to, and it does not, well, it looks to be also in the process of splitting, because sometimes when the torch coral splits, they do kind of sulk a little bit before they finish splitting, like these guys right here. Make sure they all look nice and clean, although now I'm kind of doubting myself and looking again. For today's dipping process, I am actually going to use the Simplicities coral dipping kits. To be 100% transparent up front, they did send me this product to test out, although it did kind of sit on the shelf a little bit before I actually pulled it out to try it today. So we'll try it out. It does have a really nice 8 crates to kind of hold frags, but I think that torch coral is going to be too big to sit upright. We'll try it out anyways. I'll probably have to tilt it forwards. What I do like about this right off the bat is that we do have the measurements, because when I was using regular little container or bucket, I do have to measure it. I usually just use a scale to measure the water weight, even though I understand that salt water is slightly heavier than fresh water. I think Kalu needs to go out, so let me let him out first. Today I'm going to use the PolypLab Reef Primer. I used this before to dip the wild torch. That's when the flatworm just kind of fell right off. So with success in the last round, I'm just going to use the same thing. So we got the dipping container ready. Next, let's go ahead and pull out this torch mini colony. I'll try to be careful too, not to kind of drop anything. That's kind of hitchhiking. For example, like I see a sea star right there, which we do not want. I know some people don't mind the Asterina sea star, but I swear, at least the ones in my tank, they eat zoas. Here we go. All right, here's where it's gonna get interesting. I've never taken such a close look. Oh, look at the thing just kind of falling off already. I've never really taken much of a close look to my coral to this extent. I know some people immaculate. Oh, look at this. Here it is. Here it is. Look at this. This is the flatworm. Yep. Oh my goodness, we got a lot. Not just 1 or 2. Look at all these guys. That's nuts. Now, that's what you get for not QTing your corals, right? Inappropriate reefer. I know a lot of people don't QT the corals, but this round decided to try like a wild coral, but things hitchhiked in. Look at this. Oh man. Well, the good thing is that we know this flatworm's food source. They like Euphyllias, and we know what's effective towards them. Reef Primer in this particular case. I'm sure other kind of dip is also going to be effective. But look at this. Look at these guys just falling off. These oh man. And the kicker is that I do not believe the dips are going to be effective towards eggs. So this will be a process. It's like every week I probably need to dip all the torch corals. And here's where I appreciate the white acrylic, so we can see what exactly dropped off this torch colony. I only saw one, and holy smokes, they were having a party in here. And with the Reef Primer, if I remember right, I think I should not keep corals in here more than 5 or 10 minutes. So it's meant for a quick dip, and I'm going to rinse it in the tank water, obviously in another container before putting it back in the tank. But seeing this many drop off, I am going to go ahead and dip all the other torch corals as well. Good lord. I would like to thank today's video sponsor, Aquarium Supply Online. Aquarium Supply Online is still the awesome new alternative to shopping for your reef tank, freshwater tank, reptile needs at a competitive price, while still supporting a small family-run business that's operating out of upstate New York. And recently they started carrying innovative marine products, and the owner Vince is super excited about it. I'll let him tell you more.
Hi guys, it's Vince from Aquarium Supplies Online. We are carrying a full line of innovative marine products, all of their gadgets and their tank. The larger tanks are drop shipped directly from the manufacturer. The smaller tanks are shipped from us. Here's an example of the Fusion Cube found on our website. Comes complete with everything except for the light. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.
We will continue to learn more about Vince as well as his store Aquarium Supply Online in the future. The next time you need to buy something for your reef tank, please do consider them as well. In fact, recently I purchased the Hydros ATO from them. It arrived super quickly, but that's for another video. Once again, thank you to Aquarium Supply Online for being today's video sponsor, and let's get back to the rest of the video. This is making me think that maybe I should set up a kind of like an intermediate tank for all incoming corals, regardless of whether they are wild caught or not. Just a quick dip. Gonna rinse them in tank water and return it back to the tank. And I'm gonna go ahead and just dip all the other Euphyllias or torch corals that I have, just in case. Because wow, I only saw one, but look at how many fell off. And this will also means that I will not be trading or selling any of these Euphyllias anytime soon until this is 100% eradicated. Oh my goodness. Next up, let's grab the wild torch. And then let's just kind of dip it again. I've dipped this twice and it should be clear, but just in case anything crawl back on. Let's see here, utilizing the magnifier for my old man eyes. There's once again the starfish. It used to be like splitting one big fat head. It's finally split into two, which is awesome. Once I got rid of the flatworm, it just recovered really quickly. It was looking really sad for a little bit. Alright, yeah, not much action on this frag, which is a good thing. That means this is alright. Alright, let's check the other one as well. This Knicks torch head that I'm gonna dip, I probably don't need to. I mean, it looks really healthy, but just to be safe, because I'm freaked out by how much of those flatworms fell off, is this guy right here. I have not really talked about this coral on social media. This is called the Sun Guard. I got it from drop-off coral during one of the live auctions. Oh, I should really make the head shrink first before lifting it out of the water. I got this frag off of a charity auction for Mr. Jake Adams, and this ended up coming from drop-off coral. It's called the Sun God. And as you know, there are a lot of different names for different morphs of torch at this point, so I didn't really pay too much attention to the name, but this is just simply a gorgeous gold torch. And let me remove the orange filter. This particular gold torch reminds me of an Aussie gold, which the entire tentacle, it's gold all the way through to the bottom, but it came from Indo, I believe. So this is a pretty cool morph. And now we just want to make sure that it also stays pest free. I think I see a tiny baby flatworm down there. You see that right there? I would not have noticed it. And I thought the coral looks super healthy too. Seeing what came off those torch corals and the amount that came off, we have to dip this guy, 100%. So this will be tricky. I really hope that, I really hope that I don't need to break this into two parts in terms of the colony, because I love how full it looks. but we'll see how this whole thing fits in. Oh, I've got some baby torch heads. How nice. Ha, you know what, guys? Perfect fit. Well, I mean, I do have to hold it, and we're gonna dip the heads first and then the lower branch later. We're gonna flip it, but perfect fit. I'm really hoping nothing comes out of this, but oh, there's one. There's one right there. Just fell off. But I was gonna say, I'm really hoping that nothing come out of it, but if there is, I'm glad that at least I'm catching it. Oh, look at this guy! Look at that flatworm just kind of holding on to the tentacle. Maybe it's a tentacle fighting back. Be like, yep, we get a chance to sting you now. That guy right there. But I think experience like this really drive home the importance of, well, if you can, QT your corals if possible. And number two, if possible, dip your new corals, but it does not work perfectly, as you can see here. The fact that I suspect that these, at least 1 or 2 of these flatworm hitchhiked in, was dipped multiple times, but something still made it through, and that's just part of it. Things happens. Totally fine. I mean, we are trying to keep a ecosystem here, and sometimes things just come in. Maybe it's eggs that did not hatch, because once again, a lot of the dips, or most dips, are not effective towards eggs from my understanding. So it's just part of it. Huge thanks to our local reefer Lynn for catching the sign early. I was just doing a tank walkthrough in a video, and she spotted the torch coral looking a little bit sad and something that looks a little suspicious right beneath the head. And it happens to be a wild coral, and sure enough, once I actually dipped it, this came out. And unfortunately, it does look like that flatworm was able to lay some eggs and maybe reproduce in the tank. But the good things is that these flatworms seems to just kind of stick to torches, at least from my understanding. So they'll be easy to eliminate. And now I just need to dip it maybe once a week and just goes through all the cycle, because again, if there's eggs right here that I'm not noticing, they hatch, I will need to catch those babies as well. And hopefully by going through a couple rounds of dips of these torch corals, I will be able to eliminate these guys out of the tank. All right, not much. It looks like just that one guy that's kind of like hanging on to one of the little flesh that's coming off, or mucus that's coming off. Let me flip this colony and dip the bottom portion, and for that I probably need to put you guys down real quick. Alright, so look at this goat torch. This is the New York Knicks goat torch that came from Joker Corals a long time ago at this point, and we lovingly call this the Johnny Bravo torch, because look at how small the leg is. Look at these tiny little skinny legs. It's a Johnny Bravo goat torch. This is how the torches look when they return to the tank. You can see that they're pretty pissed off. They are pissed off, but this process is good for them. We want to remove, obviously, all the Euphyllia eating pest and other pests off of these colony ASAP before they do any real damage. Let's see. Yeah, they all look alright. Looks clean. Looks clean. And we'll check back in with them later today, and hopefully they'll be back to their usual self minus the flatworms. And I feel good about the dip because, oh my gosh, look at all these guys. This is the results. I did not expect this much. This is insane. So this will be a long process. I think it's gonna take me maybe 3-4 months to make sure that all the cycle is completely broken, because there could still be eggs under. They'll hatch and flatworms will come out. I don't know. But once a week now, I'll probably pull out the corals and just dip them real quick like this. This took a little bit longer today simply because I'm filming. I like to share the good and the bad. I know this make me look like a terrible reefer if all those horrible things happen. But again, this is stuff that people normally run into. And I just have the opportunity to share some of these fun footage with you guys and share the actual experience. And hopefully my mistake and the fixes that I do here will help some of you guys who may be experiencing some similar issues, where your torch may not be open. Like, could it be some kind of pest? And if you have a pest, what do you do to deal with it? More importantly, as a cautionary tale, be sure to dip. And also, even if you dip, things may still come through. And if it does, I mean, that is okay. There are ways to deal with them.
4 to 6 weeks later.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been about 4.5 weeks since I've started dipping the goat torch. Just want to show you guys how they look right now. And after the second dip, the first time I dipped was with that one. There's one of the big mama came out where you saw earlier in this video, and the second one is with the main thing was this guy, and this guy is when a bunch of the teenager PolyClad came out. So after this initial 2 dips, all the subsequent ones, nothing really came out. Like I didn't really notice anything falling off of the torches as I dipped them, and I tried to scrape off any eggs that I saw visibly. So I think we may almost be in the clear. But of course, it has only been about 4.5 weeks. I'll continue this regimen for the next 2 months. So we got 8 more weeks to go. And each week I just kind of dipped them, and I do notice that the coral seems to be, it's weird, but it seems to be happier like the second and third day after the dip. So maybe it kind of brushes off some of the algae or whatnot on them as well. But that's total guess. I do plan to continue the dipping regimens just to make absolutely sure that nothing lingers on these corals. And you may be wondering, oh, how come it looks kind of different? It's because yes, yesterday when I was dipping this coral, the Johnny Bravo goat torch, I finally broke it. The tiny leg that's always skipped gym days finally gave out. It snapped, and I just used that chance, and I used a Dremel tool to cut them in half and just mounted them. And for some reason, this head is kind of pissed off right now. But anyways, I will go a little bit more in depth in terms of the fragging of this New York Knicks goat torch, because that is a story in and of itself, and I'll probably share with you in the next video. And I also got to introduce this goat torch, this Holy Grail torch, this awesome looking hammer, and all these new corals. And of course, I finally fragged the Bahama Llama's Weeping Willow as well. So all these, a lot of things, and the recovery of the SPS. There are a lot of things I had to share with you guys. And also, you notice that you may not see any Esterina starfish anymore. How did I do that? We'll find out next video as well. So if you don't want to miss any of these interesting things that's coming up, be sure to hit subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for spending your time with me. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see you guys next time. Look, all the starfish just crawled to the front glass again. This is after the morning cleanup.